What did you want it to be growing up, and how has that journey changed?
This is probably the first time I've ever said this. I wanted to become a banker.
Oh, really?
I spoke to my mom a few days ago and she said, you've actually been saying this all your life. You wanted to be a banker. You wanted to help people manage their money. And help, multiply their money. That's kind of what I've been saying since when I was young. We grew up in a home of an entrepreneur, right? So everyone from that, all my older brothers, younger, were in the home of an entrepreneur.
How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Chameleon. It's one word. It depends on where you meet me. I can give you different parts of my life. Right? We're building the first autonomous platform, financial infrastructure platform for the major markets. On stablecoin rails. So which means that stablecoin-based global dollars. A lot of emerging markets already, dollarized rather, and we have the capacity to make it a lot more faster. And only one thing can make it faster: agents. Things on my bucket list to ring credit and Nasdaq.
Nice.
I've had private validation from my stakeholders, and I want to have public validation.
Adeola Adedewe is the founder and CEO of Kredete, a licensed stablecoin native financial infrastructure company building the next generation of cross-border payments and programmable financial services for emerging markets. He is an endeavor entrepreneur and has scaled Kredete into a global financial infrastructure platform serving over 5 million users, processing more than $9 billion in annualized transaction volume, and has raised $24.75 million. I'm so excited we got to do this in person.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to meet.
Thank you for making this happen. While walking into the space, I felt something surreal. And I was wondering, what does it look like working in this vibrant office space? And since you built this space, what has basically changed for the team?
It's a great first question. I would say our office space is a reflection on how we work as a team, right? Open concept, which means internally we have an open culture, right? The way we built it with the mind frame that we also try to be a bit techy because we're in the tech space too as well,
right?
But not so corporate like culture, where everyone has a cubicle and you're shooting yourself away from the next person. So we try to be very open with how we, have multi-departments and functionality. So when we built the space, or when we were looking for someone to help build this space, were things that we wanted to have at the back of our minds, and also have something that's a bit replicatable, with our HQ in New York as well. So something similar, because it's almost the same similar experience. And we have also vibrant colors on our logo, so we try to add that too as well. So that those are components we had when we started building the space.
Yeah, really amazing. Who are you?
Man, I am just the humble guy. It's the most important thing. I am husband and father. I'm a brother. We're 5 boys. So that's the most reflective thing about me. Outside being the founder and CEO of Kredete.
Yeah.
So if you ask me why am I, I'll talk more about the
human side
that I have.
Right.
That gets connected on a human basis. But obviously, I'm also the founder and CEO of Kredete, which is obviously important for this podcast.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things we do at Builders Block, where we really want to understand the human side of, who is building this pioneer product. And, thank you for sharing that. On the type of thing that you do, the product that you build, what's your mission, right?
It's all about access.
It
stemmed from my personal experience, which is online. Everyone knows I got rejected 17 times over a small credit card.
Right.
But people don't really understand the feeling I had. Right? Getting rejected. Right?
Do you want to share that?
It's more or less, you are welcome into a culture that is very open, and you've been told about the same access points. But then obviously you are very much invincible within this open concept of developed market. So the feeling was very different, right? And when you are in that process, you then tend to have a lot of questions. Is it just my race? Is it just a demographics of people experiencing this? When I started asking those questions, I realized it wasn't just these demographics. It was very common to immigrants. Because we come from a third world culture that wasn't built on access. It was for the elites, right?
Right.
Then I come to the developed market where everyone had access. So that kind of made me feel a little better, and then that's kind of put me in the builder's block mindset, overnight.
Yeah, really, really interesting. Now let's go back into like the early days.
You didn't see what I did? I said put me in the builder's block
mindset. Right. Thank you for like bringing that context in builder's block. And I think that context has made you sort of like made that your mission, granting access based on what you experienced, and granted you the provision to build access for every other person who doesn't have, that same access. I really want to understand, like, this person I'm sitting down with today, the context into what has made you, the early days growing up. What are some experience that has shaped you to who you are now?
Yes, there are professional experiences and also human experiences, which I can share a few.
Right.
We grew up in a home of an entrepreneur, right? Who last worked for someone in '93.
Oh.
Right. So everyone from that, all my older brothers, younger, we all were in the home of an entrepreneur. And what we saw was very simple. He was never around.
Ah, really?
so we knew that if anyone, went through that path, you would not be around.
Oh.
Right. So that that's just what it was. So that's the human side of, how we grew up. We grew up in a very, entrepreneur-driven ecosystem, trying to build something, but obviously on the construction engineering side of things, which was very much demanded at the time and still demanding in this ecosystem post AI. But it was very labor intensive. So it meant, being very actively present across multiple, geographic systems.
Right.
So that's one thing that shaped my early days from a human nature perspective. Now, the other experiences that have shaped the person that I am today, as a founder and CEO, it's also one, the first experience on the 17 rejections, but then also when I got to work for JP Morgan, it's a great thing. At the time, we were processing $3 trillion, Now we do 12 trillion.
Oh.
I say we because I never left. It's a place when you really get there, it's a family. And you can see that they were processing payments for almost all emerging markets. And the thing I really shifted my mind from was when seeing payments fly between, Nigeria and Ghana, or Vietnam and Pakistan, or, Hong Kong and Singapore, or like Brazil and Argentina. So when we saw payments that you can book a flight 3 hours and you can deliver that payment, versus having to come into New York or go through London before it gets delivered again. So that really shaped my financial service idea. Then also within my process career, also working with a very elite startup, it shaped me because I was able to understand that the culture of startups are very different. To be a winner, you must be obsessed with things that the natural person is not obsessed with. Right. So when you look at the various cadence of my life, from the human side, growing up in an entrepreneurial home, to migrating to the US, getting rejected, to working at JP, to all of these parts, everything has really shaped, my early days to getting to even this point.
Yeah. Really, really amazing journey. Right. Do you want to share what you wanted to become growing up? Saying that entrepreneurial mindset. Did you feel at any point, oh, I also want to be an entrepreneur? Because from the research that I did, you worked at quite a number of great companies, JP Morgan, WeWork, and it was basically finance, accounting to be precise. What did you want it to be growing up, and how has that journey changed?
This is probably the first time I've ever said this. I wanted to become a banker.
Oh, really?
I spoke to my mom a few days ago, and she said, you've actually been saying this all your life. You wanted to be a banker. You did not want to. You wanted to help people manage their money. And help, multiply their money. That's kind of what I've been saying since when I was young. So I've never had any other professional path. But due to life, there's also a part where people don't know I play music very professionally.
Yeah, I found that.
So I play music to one of the heights in the US. Right, I play with a lot of tier 1 A-list artists today. And that was a height of my career too as well.
Yeah.
that I did to sustain myself as a student in the US. So there could be that path, which would have been great. Potentially probably playing in Grammys because I was very close.
Oh.
If you had an African artist play there, then I should probably
Play.
play there. So it was also at the height of my journey too as well. So growing up, I never thought of being an entrepreneur. And it's being very honest. I wanted to be a banker, to manage people's money because my dad put me on to managing his money a little bit early. So I already had that sort of that responsibility, managing,
So
someone that works extremely hard and ensuring that their money is safe, and trying to duplicate them through investments.
That's really interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong. At what age did you move from Nigeria to the US? I guess it was to study in that same field, accounting.
Yes.
Do you want to shed more light on how that has turned out for you, leaving Nigeria and going to study abroad?
Yes, I left Unilag first semester, so late teens. Probably close to my, I can't remember honestly. But it was many years ago. I got admission to Unilag. I had two choices. I can't remember now. They usually call it accountancy. Accountancy, but I didn't get in. I got in for a business administration, and I think I was supposed to convert after a year or something. And then obviously my got to move to the US to study accounting. So that was what I did. But to answer the second question that you had around the mind frame shift, between both worlds, so it's very theoretical here, and yours is very practical. I got to work for the IRS as an intern. That's the internal revenue systems, the tax. Even before I graduated, was top of my class. Got to intern for KPMG and I got a full job with KPMG right on day I graduated. So it's been a dynamic flow of just being very closely knitted in the accounting finance space pretty much all my life, where I've also built the idea around structures and systems in every other facet of my life that's still tied to the processes of accounting, right? Because it's systems, structures, process. That's pretty much accounting.
Managing.
Yes.
Really, really interesting. You mentioned you play music, at a professional, level. So while I was doing my research, I saw all of that, and I'm like, this is really, really interesting. Do you want to walk us through managing both worlds as a professional accountant and also as a professional musician? How was it for you?
It's tough, right? Because I was already professional before I started playing with popular artists, because it took a while for them to cross the US.
Okay.
They were very popular in the UK. It was very hard for them to be popular in the US. So they wouldn't go on tours as they are now. At the time, it was just one shows, or they bring an aggregation of multiple shows to multiple artists together. Which, I was the house pianist for the first ever Afrobeat festival or event in New York. 2017, 18, I think. I'll probably get my dates correct. About those 2 or 3 years, I was, and Africans relate. So imagine you've worked 12 hours, looking at trading, looking at payments all day. And then if they tell you the concert starts at 8, it doesn't start at 1, right? And ends at 4. So you're basically just kind of showering, and going to work. So it was, those days really built tenacity, right? Because I was barely sleeping.
Right.
I was in 2 different worlds, which I'll talk about. But the managing of those 2 worlds was completely different. Being that the one had structure, the other did not have structure because it was so early on, and it was now becoming recognized. I think it was 2018, Davido's Fall, Eve broke the US, and kind of everything scattered afterwards. And so post then, you'd have one-off shows. But I also then played for non-Nigerian African artists. I played for Efia. She's the Tiwa Savage of New US. I played for her as a as our MD for many years.
Oh.
So we played popular venues. We played a summer stage. It's like a big stage for all like the biggest artists in the world. So I did also non-Nigerian artists too as well, and non African artists. So I played in the jazz, Afrobeat space, Afro classic, space. So I dabbled into every site outside, Africa because I was musically trained.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's two different parts.
Yeah, really, really interesting. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words to somebody just getting to meet you based on all of this experience, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Chameleon. It's with one word. It's because if it depends on where you meet me, I can give you different parts of my life. So, within like the music community, people barely know that I run a fintech company.
Right.
They will know because I'll probably wear my brand. They'll ask what's credit, and I'll have to explain what we do if they don't know already. But if you catch me without the credit brand, you probably I'm just a pianist within a great community of friends. Catch me on Wall Street. We're talking numbers all day. Catch me after 9 p.m. Right, we're just a chill guy. Right. So it depends on where you. So I'm a chameleon. I can fit into different situations because I've lived a lot of like lives.
Chameleon. I mean, that's unique, right? Now let's talk about what you're building right now. Kredete, right? What's the law behind Kredete? I want us to walk it through like the trajectory from being like working at JP Morgan, KPMG, WeWork, and all of those things. When did you think you wanted to build a product, and when did you feel it was the right time to leave and build your own product?
So I left to build another product which got acquired.
Okay.
Took a bit of a pause and then started Kredete. It wasn't a massive acquisition. It was just bought the technology from the Asian like VC fund. It wasn't for me. It wasn't a great outcome, but for my category it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. But the idea behind Kredete was I already lived too many personal experiences for there not to be a solution for what we're doing today. And it's scaled at multiple inflection points. Focusing on credit in local markets to now focus on credit in global markets, which is what we do. But then we understood so much on the banking ecosystem here now that we partner with so much banks, and we're still trying to partner with so much banks, working from a payments infrastructure standpoint. But also another thing that is super interesting within our learning journey is now becoming fully agentic.
Yeah.
Right. So we're building the first autonomous platform, financial infrastructure platform for the major markets.
Yeah.
On stablecoin rails through agentic execution. Yeah. So which means that stablecoin-based global dollars are a lot of emerging markets already dollarized rather, and we have the capacity to make it a lot more faster. Making stablecoins a lot more faster is crazy, and only one thing can make it faster: agents. Right, versus people. So that's where we are. So we've implemented a lot of execution, which is amazing to see what the throughputs were from our engineers starting doing this, close to 4 years ago to now, having, our internal agents run a lot of, what we do today. And it's amazing to see where the world's actually getting to with this product.
Yeah. Really, really interesting, especially from like the agentic part of it. We'll talk about that briefly, but I want you to walk us through because while doing research, I saw that Kredete has gone from like V1 to V4, right? Walk us through like the trajectory of those changes and how, that has made or refined what you guys are offering.
Okay, so V1 was just very simple. What we wanted to do, build credit via payments,
right?
But build credit via real-time payments. We were very aware from day one that we were in a crowded space. I think that's usually like the hallucination founders have. They think they're the first person to do something. We just think that it was crowded. So what makes you stand out in a crowded space? You have to build an innovation, not hallucination. So we really went deep into so we've been an infrastructure company all day. but people think we're more on the mobile side. But when a lot more of the announcements will probably do soon, you'd hear a lot more on the infra side that we've been building from day one. And the infra was the innovation.
Oh.
Right? It's not the customer acquisition that we have right now. It's not the traction, and all of that are just an output of the true, infra that we built from day one, of building real-time payment between developed to emerging markets, without touching Swift. That was the core innovation. And now it's built into layering, credit aspect from V1. V4, now it's completely agentic execution. So V1 was, like I said, we were super narrowed down focused.
Right.
We wanted to just build credit via payments. So that put us in a remittance category. V1-ish. V2, we expanded to much of a global payments to be able to send, spend, save, build credit history and things like that. V3, we went a bit global, both on the sender and recipient side. V4, we went further global, but now we're sticking on agentic execution, which is to be able to speak multiple languages, have a platform that's in multiple languages, because we're in 230 countries. We have users in 230 countries, literally. Yeah. Now I'll have a few thousands of users in a few places, that is not as popular because there are not a lot of people there, or a few hundreds of users. But yes, I have active users there that, are utilizing the platform in a centralized format. So now how do you build personalization? Like they speak Portuguese. Like how can you ensure that the app is, friendly enough, right? If in Nigeria they speak Yoruba, how can you make it, much more accessible for them? Like things like that. That's only what agents would do.
Right.
Because in itself, all of those are single projects, but agents are now able to do this very easily to now make the platform a little bit much more global. And then they also execute on the functionality part of the business, which I think we've been able to accomplish extremely well.
And let's talk about the role stablecoin plays in credit. You mentioned that briefly. Do you want to explain the role stablecoins play in credit?
Yes. Our product is at the heart of blockchain, but we abstract it intentionally.
Oh.
Because when you go to a mom and pop shop in Kenya, Brazil, Tanzania, Nigeria, go to traditional market, tell them, "Oh, give me your guys' wallet," they will definitely laugh at you.
Right.
They'll think you're a scammer. Not because of the product isn't trustworthy, or it's because of what they've known all their life. Either dollar and naira.
Yeah.
Dollar and shillings, dollar whatever it is, that's what they know, or euros and zloty. Like that's all they know. So we came to them with basically what they know. So we have a value system where we say that complexity is our problem, not the users or the customer. Which means we abstract all the complex patterns to make it easy for you to actually move to whatever you want to do. And now agencies are making it a lot better. So stablecoins, which I've been researching stablecoins since 2019. Before it wasn't even called stablecoins, it was a funny name. You can research it. It wasn't always called stablecoins. And even USDT was. We had one of the co-founders of Tether on our cap table, Brock Pierce. That's how long
we've been in the rabbit hole.
we weren't trying to be too associated with it because of there are over 3 billion people in emerging markets outside China. With China, it's 5 billion, right? And we're looking at those 3 billion, and you're like, okay, for you to be able to serve 3 billion people, you need to talk about one thing they know, dollars or their local currency, and then you can build a suite of products. And that's kind of one of the things we did. But still, so that's what blockchain is able to help us accomplish. Is by providing access to the average user base or person in across emerging markets to be able to further get access to something that they would have to travel over to get access. To get it at their home, in the comfort of their home.
Yeah, really, really amazing. Linking that to what you just mentioned, Credit recently announced like a partnership with Visa, talking about Africa First stablecoin-backed credit card. Right? What does that unlock, for like an average user?
Simple. There's a lot more context when you use your local card to make international payments. People don't know that. There's a lot more context right? It's hard for the banks to, because we know a lot of these things because banks are our partners / customers, right? So we hear a lot of these things. use your local card, Naira card, Kenya card to make a payment on Amazon. The bank actually acquires money. That's why they charge you all of these things. So it's fair for them. They have to make money, right? So they use your local card to make a payments. So then they've accumulated so much cost that they bring it to you and you're not willing to pay for it. Then they shut down the program. And you know the popular time in 2021 or 2, what happened in Nigeria where your local cards couldn't work.
Yeah.
And that was also from a governmental policy perspective too. So it's mixed with that plus also the banks. I'm not trying to say that was what exactly happened, but from a context of an infrastructure part, I think that's what happened. So people are not able to use the cards, and a lot of companies popped out around, virtual cards. Now you can buy things, but we really felt that it still replicated the entire process. You were touching Swift to fund an account by default. You were touching, somebody had to Swift in, to be able to ensure that the process is actually covered. But with stablecoins, imagine having it, and then spending it, and we just do local payments, authorization, and make you feel like even if you're in a local market, you can spend as a local in the US.
Yeah.
They can make you feel like we can process it, give you an access point to make you feel local, that you're in Europe. We can make you feel local in Argentina. And that's what that card does for you. Like you said, everything we build is based on access. It's at the center of what we are trying to accomplish here. So what that card really unlocks is over 180 million merchants, 150 million merchants. Trying to make baby bring it down. So 150 million merchants plus, where you can feel like a local, right? And be very sure that your card will not decline. And you get now cash back, in dollars, things like that, full suites. You can also spend in your local market. You can also fly into multiple emerging markets and still be very much local there. So we're very bullish on that product. So the announcement was the first in the continent, right? So that made a lot of assurance that Visa is very much interested in the continent, or the card schemes in general, right? With a lot of the amazing work that they do on the continent already, with other partners. So that the unlock is for the global market, and we're trying to move continent by continent to solve this issue.
All right, big well done.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Walk us through a 101 on what credit looks like, and what an average person should know about credit, and how credit as a product is changing that access for people.
Okay, great question. So start with what I want people to know about credit is the dynamic of Gen Zs is changing, and would have more younger people come in. That's what we're in a continent. I don't have to sell Africa. I sell Africa to a lot of everyone else, but not us. Youngest, continent in the world. By 2030 would even give the next person a huge distance. Sort of working population would have Nigeria being in the top GDP, in the world. So there are different great things about the continent. So I want to ensure that as we get busier with the new generation, they're able to focus on what they want to focus on. And we want them to never focus about how to manage the entire finance. So I want them to understand that there is an infrastructure that is currently available, and as we keep ensuring and adding new suite of products, it will be a finance platform in their pocket. So whatever it is that they want to accomplish, if they've done it once, the agent remembers it and would do it on their behalf moving on. Right? So it's, if you've thought about sending a payment to your mom for her upkeep every 30th of the month, and because you're so busy, you're hustling, working 2-3 jobs, you tend to forget. But your mom also needs the money by the 30th. It's super important. The agent remembers it for you. You pay your rent annually, right? Yeah. You tell the agent to stop, hey, lock money from this my checking account to my savings account once my salary hits in. And once your salary hits in, it saves it, and then it makes the rent payment for you annually.
Yeah.
You know,
Done.
so you don't have to think about everything else. You a finance, platform in your pocket, and I can give you on and on and on examples that isn't fixated on Nigerians or fixated on Kenyans or fixated on Tanzanians. It's fixated on any person in a major market. Brazilians feel the same pain, and you fly to any developed market. You don't have to always start from day one. You're already embedded in the credit system. So you want to move from school like me over a decade ago. You don't have to feel like you're outside the system. We've now adapted that infrastructure to make it feel like it's a travel buddy, a finance in your pocket that can actually travel with you. That's what we want people to know. The second part of the question talked around I probably forgot.
Yeah, that's basically. I think you've answered the question. Now let's talk about fundraising, right? Congratulations on the raise, right? From the seed round to the Series A. Do you want to walk us through what that meant for you personally and how it has changed what you're building at Kredete, and more so the behind the scenes, right? Such that somebody watching this podcast can understand what to do, what not to do. I see you do a lot of videos when it comes to fundraising, term sheets, data room, and all of those things. Give us masterclass.
I try. I have a very give back. I also was raised in a give back home. My mom just does a lot of give back stuff. So I tried not to hoard information. If I know it, I will give it out.
Yeah, right.
If it doesn't work for you, sorry, it probably worked for me and it might not work for you, right? But at least you know that there's an ability that for something like this to happen. So the first thing that it does obviously validate your idea. One consistent thing that I've seen, from a pattern of fundraising, at every new round, the person that probably led my round was supposed to be with me for 30 minutes and ended up spending 4 to 8 hours with me.
Interesting.
At every round, from seed.
Yeah.
Pre-seed was different. So it was more like we built quick conviction, David Coyne at Techstars. But yeah, the Blockchain Founders Fund, while we're here, right? They, was flying from Singapore. 30 minutes coffee ended up becoming an 8 hours meeting in a coffee shop. And I followed him around to the next meeting and we talked. And now we're good friends. And great fun, great guys, great team. We're able to really, so which means that when you truly meet the right person, it can be quick, and we also had quick sessions too as well. Because as a founder, you don't have time. You obviously don't want to, but when you know that the next person you want to work with for the next 10 years, I feel like it's a marriage.
Okay.
You're working with the person for the next 10 years, right? So for the next 10 years, you'll have to ensure that you have an adequately built relationship of trust, integrity, a lot of everything, so it takes time to build those things. So yeah, that's one thing I always talk about. Then around our journey, it wasn't just internal for this ecosystem. I think the fund in Africa was depleting, and it was good that there are new deployments of payments into the ecosystem, because by default, as we raised, other people raised within the ecosystem, and it kind of brought venture capital confidence in the ecosystem that there's something that is going to happen. And as you can see, it's probably charted up. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Do you want to touch on the masterclass part where anybody looking at watching this should do, while raising funds?
No, so I would say this in different categories and try to be a little bit political. It depends on where you're finding yourself. If it's a friend in the Bay Area, I'm telling you a different thing, right? If you're in San Francisco, I'm like,
right.
Well, just do robotics, defense, AI, and you'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
But in this part of the world, just know your stuff. There is I'll say this, a certain level of confidence that happens and comes when you really know your stuff. Right? Just know it. Because these people that are speaking with you, there are two types, right? The ones that really know their stuff and the ones that don't. So they're coming to you for information. That's what it is, information gathering. If the data doesn't get to a knowledge state, it means that the data inputs, and there are also many reasons, right? There can be a reason whereby the person's file is corrupt. When I mean corrupt, the person's brain already thought about something and was, and they're like, what, nothing can actually change in this space. So no matter what this person thinks, nothing can happen, right? So when I mean the data is corrupt, it means that they already made their mind about a certain thing. But also many times, many of them don't just know. So when they speak to you, they're like, very interesting.
Yeah.
So the more you know, the more information you give to them, and they can then process it and then convert it to knowledge.
Right.
And it's in that knowledge state, they can then tell you, what, I'm making a bet on you. That I spent time with you and I was able to, and one of the Horowitz brothers said the same thing. He said that if he has a meeting with the founder and he cannot leave that meeting with a note, he's not investing in the company.
Really interesting.
That's his process thought. Like you must be so smart about something that I don't know. And I know a lot of things. Right? It's like you must just be smart about something. So it can be that you play soccer and he thought the pitch ran from left to right, and you told him completely it was from right to left. It's like, wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. So now I can say that somewhere else, which you've converted data into knowledge for him.
Yeah.
Now there's also different nuances about that, right? But in its format, I think just as a founder trying to raise capital, just know your stuff. Don't go out there with vibes, thinking fully well that you would get most of the information as you go, which you will. But at least what you have today, just have so much knowledge about it, because it will help with your fundraising journey.
Let's go into like some of like your personal thoughts and like what you think about a founder journey based on some of like your tweets and all of that. You once tweeted something.
Hey, you're about to quote me on the tweet. All right, let's go.
Yeah, you said run your mouth if you want to make it big. What does that really mean?
Oh, that's you tweet based on a feeling, right? You probably saw something, and so I was most likely influenced by the Bay Area culture at the time, because they've moved on, they've left the world in billions. I think the world is still in billions, they're in trillions, and people don't pay attention to this nuance. And maybe you caught this, and this will probably be a big headlight. Is the world is left in billions, right? Billions is a huge number for us in Africa, a huge number in LATAM, a huge number in Asia, a huge number in Gulf. But between the Bay Area, US, and China, they're in trillions.
Interesting.
So I can give you a simple example. Why do you burn trillions of tokens? Not one token, not two tokens. I feel like if we built OpenAI and Anthropic in this part of the world, the token mindset would still be in, maybe like we'll be saying we're burning 200 tokens, 400 tokens. We have a small mindset. Right now, there's so much factor there, right? I can go on and on. It's also political, but these guys they're in a mindset of trillions, which is why they can actually get to $1 trillion market cap. So while we are in the world of billions, these guys are in the world of trillions. So which means, what I said to them, they have the capacity to run their mouth. Because when you run your mouth, you've seen something that no one has ever seen. Sometimes we're very timid in this part of the world, and also across multiple major markets. So we know a lot of stuff, but we don't say them because we have a timid culture. You're not allowed to speak, in class, to randomly speak. You must raise your hands first. But in other places, you just speak. You say whatever you want to say. The world accepts it or not, right? And that culture already trains them and the children to ensure that start thinking big. And guess what? Say it. People, the max that will happen, someone either correct you or not, right? So that culture is what has really made $1 trillion cap companies. And as you can see, Elon is running his mouth on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
Right. He doesn't go through his comms team to probably make a post. He just says it. Because he's so confident that there's only so much that can actually happen, right? Within this capacity, and for him to even run his mouth to the US president, like that's how much so if you really know your stuff, run your mouth.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Every single opportunity you have. Don't be too timid. Don't try to say, oh, I'm just trying my best to do. No, I'm building the best infrastructure, and building the what, like, you must believe it internally before you can actually convince someone else. So that idea of running your mouth really gives founders it gives them a mindset that really makes them sustainable over a long period of time.
Thank you very much. I wanted to ask you, like, over the past years, if there's something you tell me to walk away with as myself for the next half life that I have, I think this one is key. I need to run my mouth, right? And so, like, as we bring the podcast to a close, right, very quickly, tell us, like, your favorite city, your favorite food, and things on your bucket list.
So I've been on 100 flights this year.
Interesting.
Within 4.5 months. So I've been to 3 or 4 continents. And I would say my best place is Lagos. I had to make that interesting, just because every single second I spend here, I see a problem I can solve. And I'm just trying not to solve it because I have priorities to my stakeholders. I just see so much opportunity here. My next best will be New York. I love the city so much. I love the state so much because it really gave me everything I have today. So Lagos, New York would be then my favorite food that my wife loves to make for me. So a lot she does. She has like this porridge and meat that she does.
Asaro.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I love that a lot. She makes that for me every time. When I'm coming back home, I'm very stressed and tired. Things on my bucket list to ring credit and Nasdaq.
Oh, nice.
So I've had private validation for my stakeholders. Now I want to have public validation.
Right.
So there's a path to public validation.
You
must keep grinding every single day and ensuring that the world knows about the emerging market as much as possible to validate it. Yeah. I'm not going there for them to just list and make them money, but I'm also trying to tell them, you probably thought an African company would not, or a company in the emerging market wouldn't be able to achieve this capacity, which is why I'm championing for OPay as much as possible. I know they're Chinese founders and all that, but I'm just championing for them to be able to say, and Dangote as well, doing this in the local markets, saying, hey guys, there's something really happening here that we've been blindsided for a long time, and so I think there are also other public companies that will be public that people don't know about. I'm not going to say it, that would also build the ecosystem. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of your insights, journey, with us today on Builders Blog. And I'm sure somebody watching this would have picked from your journey, your experience, and use that to run with their own life. Most importantly, you need to know your stuff, right? Just like Ade said, right? You need to know your stuff. You need to be able to run your mouth. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And if you found this conversation useful, valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more conversations as this. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.